Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late here, more than a couple minutes late. Had some video problems, had to restart here right before I wanted to get going. What we're going to go over today is going to build a homepage with you guys on BigCommerce. I'm going to do it with Page Builder and some widgets. Show you how cool and fun that stuff is. Give me an emoji here in chat if you guys can hear me. Last week I had some interesting comments. Had to set my filters a little bit tighter this week. So hopefully we don't have any crazy bots here posting. So give me your favorite emoji if you guys can hear me while I log into BigCommerce, and then we'll get going. Hey Jaden, thanks for coming back. All right. Well, somebody can hear me, so that is good. Appreciate you guys coming on. Hey, so I'm gonna be posting some more videos. You guys have probably seen some, a renewed push for videos here in the past, but I'm going to be launching a podcast here next week talking about e-commerce. Obviously, it's all I talk about, right? I'm a little e-commerce robot. But I'm going to be talking about e-commerce concepts, succeeding in e-commerce, entrepreneurship, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be, specifically big commerce focused, but I'm sure I'll slide some big commerce and Shopify stuff in. Obviously, you guys know I love big commerce and it's my chosen platform. Um, but what I'd love to know is, what would you guys like to hear about on a podcast about e-commerce? Given that I've been in this business for more than a decade, and you know, people, people pay money to get out of my head what's in there. Would you want to know? That's what I'd like to know. Give me some examples of some stuff that you struggle with, and that would be great for potential show topics. All right, I'm just loading up Cornerstone here in another window, and then I'll share here in a second. What in the world? Yeah, Jaden, they haven't added any new widgets. I really feel that. Well, here's the thing, BigCommerce, if you're listening, when you came out with widgets, before widgets came out, everybody was like, "Yes, this is gonna be great." And then when the widgets came out and we saw 'em, we're like, "Ugh." Such a good concept, but the widgets that came out with it just aren't that great. That's why we built a widget app because we're like it, which was, this sounds great, but the widgets that are out there, they don't do much, and they certainly don't look great on mobile. A lot of them, at least without some work, they don't. And yeah, so we were excited when widgets came out, and we basically didn't do anything with them for over a year after they came out, just because we didn't really realize. I think I'm going to speak for BigCommerce. I don't think we realized what BigCommerce wanted to see. I think that they created widgets a as a feature that they wanted the community to build. You know, I think that they wanted us to build this app. Maybe not, you know, my company in specific, Epic Design Labs, but I think that they were putting out something in the world with basic building blocks, with an API that could be leveraged to build more widgets. And I think that they wanted to see happen what, happened eventually. A couple years went by, and us and Papa Themes released apps that would put widgets into your store. And I think that is really what they wanted to have happen. Now, it was like 2 years between when widgets came out and when the apps came out. I think that they could have easily kinda push the community into this a little bit more by kinda just spelling out, like, "This is just the start, we want you guys to build stuff with it. We're purposefully not getting too deep because we want the community to fill in the gap." I think it was an intentional gap, I guess, is what I'm saying. And, I'm thankful for it. I wish it didn't take me as long as it did to figure out, that that was an opportunity just kinda sitting out there for someone to take it. But, finally we figured that out, and yeah, let's see here. Yeah, BigCommerce solution BigCommerce solutions are always rushed. They don't build on it and improve on it. Yeah, there's a flip side to it, right? You could easily work on something forever and never launch it, so it's kinda like the lean startup mentality is I feel that BigCommerce is pushing a lot harder what can be done in e-commerce than Shopify, its obvious competitor, and, so they're the first to do things, and when you're the first to do things, then you gotta invent your way out, and it seems like it's not that perfect because then someone else comes along and maybe does a more polished version of it, but they have the benefit of the first guy's effort to know how to do it different, you know? So, I don't know. I like that we are all collectively invested in this platform that pushes the envelope, and so, I've seen him not do some things that well, but I'm really appreciative that they're out there leading the field, in my opinion, and yeah. Alright, so yeah, be sure to leave me any more comments, anything that you guys are stuck with, any ideas you guys have for things you'd like to see me talk about. Sorry, I'm a little sniffly today. I'm getting over a cold, but I'm committed to spending some time, with you guys, with the community, helping you get through your challenges. So let me know what your challenges are. I'm here to give you some time. So let me know what those things are. Well, let's see here. I want to store. Okay, let me do this here. I'm trying to get to like an untouched version of Cornerstone. And yeah, here it is. Okay, let me share my screen. Share screen. And if you guys have questions along the way, ask your questions. Uh, if you have, other, I'm going to open it up to all kinds of questions at the end. So whatever you got goes. Definitely ask questions as we go through here. So I want to start doing some like let's builds here on BigCommerce and just building out some sample things. So this is a supposed to be an untouched version of Cornerstone. I just copied it over from the live. I don't know why these fonts are looking weird like they are. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've selected something somewhere. I don't know, but it's basically an untouched version of Cornerstone. You can see it doesn't look great. We all know Cornerstone doesn't look great out the gate, but if you guys have heard me talk about it before, Cornerstone is always if you're gonna develop a little bit on your store, start with Cornerstone because it's got all the latest features and all the latest updates. One example, I always show people this. Um, I know this has got some weird products in it, but one thing that I really like about Cornerstone versus other themes that are available for BigCommerce is called LQIP Lazy Load. So just to kind of show you this, if I can find a category that actually has products in it. Nope, no luck. Um, Let me actually just go into the back end and I'm going to just get rid of all these crazy categories and dump everything into one category. Oh, I only have I only have 5 products in here. Okay. I'm going to just get rid of all these. I keep water filters or yeah, water filters, the one that actually have products in. Yeah, I'm gonna actually keep aquarium products. That's where the products actually are. So let me get rid of these. could get rid of these too. I'm just gonna have like 2 categories showing. All right, so now I got 2 categories, one with products and one without products. And if I go into my storefront themes, I'm gonna open up my customizer to look at my Cornerstone light. All right, so I got 2 categories. Now, I want to show you guys LQIP lazy load. This is my favorite feature that they've come out with in years. And you've seen this on other sites, but maybe you don't realize it. So back in the old days, when I was a whippersnapper, we had lazy load that was just a spinning GIF. And if you're on a different BigCommerce theme or a theme outside of BigCommerce, you may still have something like this that just shows the little, hey, we're loading, we're loading, we're loading thing. And that's not cool. Nobody wants to see that. So let me show you what Cornerstone does, and you're going to have to watch carefully to even see it. What Cornerstone does, I'm going to describe it first and then I'll show you, is it loads. Well, first of all, they use a CDN that saves multiple different sizes of each image, right? Like 6 or 7 or 8 sizes of each image. And then it loads the size that is appropriate for the device that you're using. So if you upload a 2000 by 2000 product image and you're looking at it on a 350 pixel wide mobile phone, it's going to show the um, the smallest file size, right? It's going to show something that's like 400 by 400 or something, and that works great on mobile phones. But what they're doing for the lazy load on desktop now is they're showing that mobile phone version, the smallest version of that image, and then replacing it with the crisp version once it downloads. So what this looks like, and you have to watch to even see it, is you click into a product with categories and it loads it. So, oh, this is not one. Let me click on this one. Let me go to the front end and show you this because customizer's getting in the way. All right, real front end, click into water pond filters, and they're already loaded. So no spinning GIFs, it's just automatically crisp. If you do happen to see the products before it downloads the high res version, then it's just going to look blurry for just a split second and then it gets crisp. But that's one of my favorite features. Anyway, when you look at Cornerstone, Cornerstone has this, it has all the other latest greatest features of BigCommerce. And with the other themes on the marketplace, it's kind of up to their theme manufacturer if they want to have those features, right? And sometimes theme manufacturers are lazy, right? They're selling you these themes as a one-time price, and then it's like, well, do we keep on putting time and effort into this theme that people have already bought? Maybe they're not selling enough to justify it, so they just don't integrate new features. And this isn't a big commerce thing. This is a everything thing, right? On Shopify, on WordPress, if you're into that. And so the thing with Cornerstone is this is BigCommerce's flagship theme. When they come out with a new feature, it goes out in Cornerstone because that's how everybody sees what the new feature is. So this is a huge reason to get Cornerstone, right? You're not going to have to wonder if you can get a specific feature on your theme. Now, when updates come out, like once you have a customized version of Cornerstone, when updates come out, they have to be manually spliced into your store because BigCommerce isn't going to overwrite your store and cause your store to maybe have a glitch or downtime or something because something goes out of whack. They're not going to have a destructive update like that. So it is a manual thing. But it's a lot easier to manually update your store to a feature that just came out on a newer feature of the theme that you're already on because the difference between the theme that you're on right now and the theme that you're upgrading to get those features are not that different, right? But if you're on, Billy Joe Bob's theme 1.0 and you're trying to incorporate a feature that's on Cornerstone 6.12, I mean, I'm a developer and I would say good luck. So sometimes you can integrate new features, but a lot of times if it's something deep, you're just going to wish you were on Cornerstone. So didn't mean to go off on a tangent. about Cornerstone, but it is very, very nice. It doesn't look that great out the gate, but you can make Cornerstone look like anything that you want. And, you know, 2 other side benefits of Cornerstone. Number 1, it's faster than any other theme that I test because it's just so stripped down. It doesn't have all the extra stuff holding you back, right? So you start fast, which helps you end fast. Um, yeah, that's definitely a huge plus. Uh, is the minimalism, and then the other one that I was gonna mention, it'll come back to me. All right, so let's get to what we're here to talk about, building a homepage. So when I come into Cornerstone in the customizer, which again you get to by going to storefront themes, customize, you see the base Cornerstone. Am I in the right theme? I don't think I'm in the right theme because I'm not in the right theme. That's why it looks so funky. Okay, let me apply this one. This is one that I just peeled right off of untouched Cornerstone. There's a problem installing your theme. All right, let me refresh. Okay, fly, light. And now let's go to customize. Yeah, Jaden says if something goes wrong on their end, technical support's not the best. That's only the downside. That's the only downside with the BigCommerce theme. Yeah. I mean, it's a mixed bag, you know. BigCommerce isn't going to support customizations. I don't think they should, but they definitely will give you better answers if you're running Cornerstone. It's definitely an out for them and Shopify and really anybody else. If you're, once you customize anything, then your customizations could probably be causing you the problems. But coming into Cornerstone, here's what I do. Now, this for some reason already has a couple things turned off. But the first thing I always do is go into my homepage settings and turn off the show carousel button. Right, so this is how your site probably looks when you're first getting it, is it's got the carousel, it's got, some new products or something in here, maybe some featured products, it's got just a super baseline footer. So first thing that I do is I turn off the carousel. Now, the reason I do that is because carousels are absolutely proven to decrease your conversions. Why does BigCommerce put it in there? Because everybody asks for it. And because it's been in there for 10 years and 10 years ago it was table stakes. Now, there's a lot of tests out there by people like that. These are the guys that train people to do CRO. Um, a lot of tests that show carousels decrease your conversion. So the first thing I always do is I turn off show carousel. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do that right now. And and so I like to put my hero in other ways, right? So this is how it looks now. If I click preview, basically we have a crazy big header, we have new products, and that's it. These products are like little toys or something for aquariums. If you're wondering what the heck this stuff is, a bi orb submarine, something you could put in your aquarium. Just some test products I have in here. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is like talk about for a second, like what do we want on our homepage, right? Everybody wants a hero. They either want like a full width hero or like a column width hero. I like a triple hero myself. I'll show you that here in a second. And or you could just do a static image. And so using BigCommerce's widgets, you can come in here and just drag an image in here. It's got like a hideous looking test image in here, but you can easily come and upload a different image. And I don't think I have. Oh, I got some crazy images in here. Let's see what I can use. Just gonna use. Is this a dumpster? Oh my gosh, I have a. All right, cracking myself up here on the call. I don't know if you guys can all see my beautiful dumpster image. Okay, let's use a different image than a dumpster. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I don't know how I have a dumpster in here. All right, this image is too small. Let's get a bigger one. All right, here's one with like a barbecue grill or something. Mm, that one's super big. Well, long story short, we just want to put an image in here. Let's see, do I have any that are a little shorter? All right, here's one with some chairs. Okay, so now we got a hero image. If we click preview, then we can see it. Now, BigCommerce doesn't have much controls here in their image widget, and so like I personally don't like this going edge to edge. Although you can see it's not quite going edge to edge, right? There's just a little bit of breathing room, and I know that some of you guys hate that. And let me show you how to get rid of it. So important to know is that there's layers. And you can see if I click into layers, there's the image widget that I just dragged in here, and that's inside of a column, which is inside of a layout, which is inside of a region currently called home below menu, right? So if I want to get rid of that edge and it's not here in the margin and padding on this main image, you got to click one level up to go to the column, and you can see the BigCommerce by default puts in 10.5 pixels padding into their columns. Drives me nuts. I wish we could just set that to 0, but, it is what it is. That's how you get rid of it. That's one of the biggest questions I get about page builder widgets, about using page builder. And again, sorry to be sniffly, getting over a cold. Um, yeah, I personally don't like that, so I would actually increase the padding a little bit here and say, maybe 60 on both sides, or actually that's kind of crazy big. Let's say 30 on both sides. And that looks pretty good to me, except that you do need to be aware that, they don't have that great a responsive control in their default widgets. And so when you look at this on mobile, it's still 30 there. So it's not going to decrease percentage wise. So it feels like a lot more padding than you really want when you're looking at it on mobile. But you can totally do that. Now, this is if you want to do like a simple hero, just like with an image, and you can go into some system like Canva and put text on the image all day long if you want to. You can also come in here and use some of the widgets that we have in Page Builder widgets. Now, if you guys haven't seen our app, this isn't really a commercial for the app or anything, but I'll show you. Gosh, let me go into it from here. So if I go into apps and then Epic Page Builder widgets, this is an app that you can get in the App Store. And if you click into the configuration tab, there's a whole bunch of free widgets that you can use, as well as some that are available on the paid side of our app. Our app's only $50 one time. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of the widgets that I like the best for heroes, specifically the hero overlay, which I can see I need to update my version, and the triple hero. So let's go back into the customizer. And again, feel free to ask questions if you guys have questions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click down here, and I have a lot of extra widgets in this store. I'm going to start out. Let's look at the overlay widget actually. Okay, looking for one called Hero Overlay. Oh, where I missed it somewhere. Hero Overlay. All right, maybe I don't have it pushed in. I'll show you guys my triple hero, which this is the one that I like the most because it's already installed on this store. And here's why I like this particular widget is because I like to have something that works on mobile as well as desktop. And so we built this widget to let you have like a 3-panel system where you can upload 3 different images, right? So you can see I have 3 different bicycles uploaded right off the bat. Um, you could easily put something else in. In fact, let me just open a Canva and we'll make a couple images here real quick. Let me just do this in my other screen. If you guys don't use Canva by now, by the way, Canva is awesome. All right. Here's what I'm doing is I'm coming in here to Canva and I'm saying create a new design, make it 600 by 800. And let's say we're going to sell barbecue grills. I'm going to come in here to elements. No, elements. Yeah, elements. Photos. And then I'm going to type in barbecue. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to take 2 pictures of barbecue itself. So let's take this one. That looks awesome. All right. And then I'm going to make a copy. And here I'm going to, oh, that's a dirty looking grill. I don't want that one. Oh, let's do some kebabs. Right. Just like that. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to change this to say barbecue grill. And which one do we want? Let's say I want one with like an actual picture of the grill. Yeah, this one right here. All right, let's make this big. And then we're going to kind of drag it off to the side. And I'm going to actually, I'm going to just write something on here. Say quality barbecue grills since 1995. Right. Let's just put that somewhere where we can kind of see it. Like that. Can we add a little shadow to it? Let's add a, no, let's not add a background. That's terrible. A little bit of lift. There we go. All right, so let's do that. We're going to download these and then we'll put these into our triple hero. So this looks like a real web page instead of one with pre-made images. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's come in here, upload image. Upload. I'm going to upload the first one. Let's do the kebabs on this side. And let's say I'm going to just link this. I'm going to link this to slash categories, which is your parent most category, and call this barbecue kebabs. Okay, now I'm going to go into image number 2. And on this one, I'm going to upload. I'm going to upload, I promise. Did I just wipe my workout? I did. Talk about it. I hope I muted myself there while I coughed. I'm going to have a cough drop because I've been having a week. Okay, slash categories, kebabs. This puts alt text on your image. Okay, barbecue grills. I'm going to just point this to the same one, okay, slash categories. I'm going to go to the third one. I'm going to upload the last picture. Man, if you want to have a coughing fit, just do a YouTube live. slash categories. You got to remember to always do your alt text. That's going to cause you some accessibility problems if you don't, because blind people can't read images, neither can Google. And so putting in alt text for all of your images, super important. Now I'm going to go ahead and click publish, which makes this live, and preview. So if I didn't mention before, these tabs at the top, design and preview, toggle you between design mode, where you can drag widgets in, or preview mode, where you see what the actual web would see. And in preview mode, everything's clickable. So in preview mode, I could click on one of these slides and it'll take me to the slash categories page where I pointed all my slides to. Now I want to come back. So one thing that I don't like is I don't like it going this close to the edge. I like my heroes to be hemmed in a little bit. So one thing that we've done here on the triple hero is we've given you some settings here. Like we could show captions, and then that'll put the alt text that we had as captions underneath the images. I'm going to leave that. Oh, and when you do captions too, you can give the captions a background and say, make it gray or red or whatever. And, you can make it look kind of sharp, especially if you change the font color. But I'm going to leave that off. So I'm not going to show a caption at all. This is where you can control the margin between images. And so therefore you can get rid of the gap if you want. I personally like the gap, so I'm going to leave it in. And where was the setting here? Oh, here it is, max width, right? So I can come in here and say 1600 max width, publish that. And now when I look at it on preview, look at that. So much better to me. Maybe you're different. Um, all right. So let's do the next thing. So the next thing is we want to add, like, say, we want to add 3 category thumbnails here across the bar here underneath this. So we could just use another triple hero actually, or we could use this layout widget here. Now, the layout widget isn't really a widget, it's a widget container. And what you can do with the layout widget is you can drag it in here and it'll create columns for you. And it creates 2 right out the get-go. Let's change that to 3 because we want to put 3 category thumbnails across. And I'm going to go ahead and just make a couple category thumbnails too while I'm in Canva. So I'm going to make these 400 by 600. Let me drag this in. Oh, cool. Thanks, Jaden. I appreciate that. We don't charge enough for it to actually make money, but we charge enough to make sure people can, pay for basic support and let us keep on developing new widgets. So if you do upgrade it, by the way, as we come out with new widgets, you'll just automatically get those new widgets. And our lead developer Josh is working on a couple cool ones, and he's listening to this, so he knows I'm talking about them. All right, I'm going to create a couple of thumbnails here, 400 by 600. I'm going to say create a new design, and let's say, wow, I did not do that. I did not do what I wanted to do. I'm going to say create a new design. Oh, I know what I want to do. 400 by 300. So 400 by 300. And let's say that we do barbecue grills. Didn't want all that. I want just a different picture of a grill. So let's find one. Barbecue grill. Photos. Let's do this one. So this will be our barbecue grill category image. And let's do one for barbecue accessories. So maybe like brush, Oh, let's do sauces. Let's do sauces. Maybe that's a little too saucy. This one's perfect. I should not have picked a food topic. Now I'm getting hungry. Sorry to all the vegetarians out there. And let's do barbecue cleaning maybe to get some kind of yeah, like a some kind of like cleaning picture. Well, I mean, this is a fake store. So let's say this is gonna do. So these are our three categories. I'm gonna download these. Oh, cool. Thanks, Jaden, for upgrading. Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming, like real cool stuff. We're working on specifically some GraphQL based widgets that are going to hit the next level. Okay, so here's what we could do, even without using our widgets app, because this live is not it's not a commercial for our app. What we could do though is we can come in here and use the native widget here and drag those images in. Right, so we could say upload an image, and we'll do our first one here, which is a grill. Actually, let me just save my work before I get too carried away. I know that why that wasn't saving. And this brings me to another quirk here of the page builder. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to drag in this image and it wasn't dragging in. And here's why. It won't let you have two images of the same name in the image manager. This is not anything to do with the page builder, but BigCommerce's image manager won't let you have two images of the same. And when you drag an image into page builder, you're actually dragging it into the image manager. And so because I think I just left these numbered 1, 2, and 3 straight out of Canva, it's not going to let me upload any of these without changing the name. So I'm going to say category grills. And then let's say category sauces. And then category, I'm just going to put cleaners. Okay. So let's get back to this and say upload, drag in the category grills. Okay. And then let's say we're going to do the same thing here, except with sauces. And then we're going to do the same thing here, except we're going to say category cleaners. All right. So now we have uploaded 3 images. We can come in here to each one of these images and actually link it by clicking link. So I just clicked on this and we can say link it to whatever the URL is for the category, the accessories category or the cleaners category. And then what we could do is we could also drag some text right in here underneath the image and make this say cleaners, barbecue cleaners. And we can highlight that and use this little link icon to link it to the categories, just like we did here with this image. But I don't like this method because there's a lot of steps to it, and you're keeping the image and the text separate, right? But this is one way that you could do it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a different way. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take out the layout. This is how you delete a layout. This is another question I get all the time is I have all these like widget spots in here and they don't go away because once you start dragging in a couple widgets, you'll end up with just tons and tons of these layers, even when you delete the widget, right? So I just did another one. Here's how you delete it: is you click it, and there's a little spot right here that you can click on that takes you up to the layout that it's in, and then you click delete. Same thing. That's how you clean it up. Okay, let me show you the other way. The other way I would do this is actually using a widget from the free side of our app. So anybody can get this without paying anything. Just install our app and push this widget in. It's called Image Gallery. So Image Gallery is specifically made for you to, use as an image gallery. It just is a little bit nicer to use for the function that we're trying to use right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the first image, and I'm just going to find where I uploaded those images here just a minute ago. I think it's at the bottom. I got a lot of images in here. You guys got to let me know if I like accidentally mute myself or something. All right. So I'm going to load this in here. I'm going to put in here for the caption barbecue grills. And you can see my link goes right here. I'm going to just link it to categories. And here's where my alt text is for the image. And you can see that by doing this, I get the image, I get the link. The link appears, or the link links both the image as well as the text underneath the image. And so I did that whole card here in about 5 seconds, as opposed to 25 steps with the default widget. So you can kind of get this look either way, but I'm going to do it here uh, with with my widget. Okay, going to the next one. This is definitely a feature request you guys can ask for with BigCommerce is a better way to use the image manager here, because once you get a lot of images in here, it's hard to look through these. Like there's no search, for example, so it can get a little bit hairy. Barbecue sauces. Gonna just link this to the same thing, just because I'm being lazy. Obviously, if this was a different category, you'd put in the real link, right? So we got barbecue grills, barbecue sauces, and let's do one more here for what was the last one we had? I forget. Oh, it was the cleaners, right? I got a lot of images. Okay, barbecue cleaners. Okay. Now we got some weird space around here. We're going to change this in our widget here pretty soon, but when you first load this, yeah, it's just got some weird space. So you can come in here and you can see we have all this crazy padding. I'm going to just remove that. And I'm going to actually remove the up and down padding here. There's some, oh, there's some extra padding here on the uh, captions. I'm going to reduce the top padding. And yeah, I mean, that feels pretty good. Keep in mind, just like I showed you guys before, there's a little bit of extra padding here on the sides that's added by the column that I dropped this in. So I always just kind of reflexively remove that. Cool. All right. Now let's publish this and see how it looks. Okay. If I go back to my front end, yeah, that doesn't look bad. So we have the triple hero, and then we have our categories down here. We have new products. Doesn't look that great yet. Let's make it look greater. One thing I would do is I'm a big fan of. All right, you guys can hear me. I'm a big fan of putting a solid H1 on your page that spells out what you do with maybe like a subtitle, because you got to get text on the page for Google to know what you got going on. So let's do that. You can use BigCommerce's text widget. to put text on the page right underneath here, right? Here is the problem with this, though, is that they don't let you determine what kind of text this is. And you need an H1, and we don't have an H1, right? So that's a problem. There's no way to get around it with the text widget. What you could do is you could use an HTML widget if you want to use the native stuff and come in here and type out an H1 and say the the best barbecue grills in Tampa, Florida. I'm not in Tampa. But you could do that and click Save HTML, and now you have an HTML. Now you have it on there in HTML, but there's no style controls, and it looks like it's, like, left aligned, and I probably wanna center align it. So then you gotta learn to be a developer pretty much and say style equals, text center. You can save that. Actually, I don't think that works because I think we gotta text center an element that is around it. And you kinda see that this is a little bit onerous. This defeats the whole purpose of the page builder because the whole purpose of the page builder is to not have to code, you know? So let me get rid of that. And I hate to say it, but one more time, we're gonna use a widget. Now this I th I'm pretty sure is also on the free side of our app, so this is not something that you need to pay for. And I'm gonna just type this in. Nope, this is not the full version of it. Let me find the right one. You're not normally gonna have this many widgets in your store like I do. This is just our test store where we have, like, widgets that we're working on building, so it can get a little bit messy here. Well, something's wrong with that one. Let me show you a different one. I'm going to show you this with text blocks. Text blocks is one of my favorite widgets because you can come in here and write all kinds of text, including this, and type. And we're going to choose to make this instead of an element type paragraph, we're going to make it an H1 and we're going to center it, right? So we just did it super, super quick. And remember, I wanted to add like a subtitle. So I'm gonna just click the plus sign here to add a second block. And in the second block, I'm gonna open that up and I'm gonna say, we have we have all the barbecue, grills, sauces, and accessories you need for your next family cookout. And again, I'm gonna center that. Um, now I'm going to use, it says you can use theme default using this widget, or you can say custom. And if you say custom, then you can specify exactly how you want this to look, even though it's still going to remain in a paragraph text. So I don't want it to be bold. I want it to be normal. We all want to be normal. Oh, you guys missed it. I was like staring right at you when I said that. All right. We're gonna make this 18, and we can make it a little bit smaller on mobile, and it's looking pretty good. Let's do the same thing with the first block and actually just dial that up a little bit by saying, let's make it custom textile, and we're gonna leave it as bold this time. Let's make it 32 because 36 is a little loud, and let's make it like 22 on mobile. All right. So I'm gonna decrease the spacing on the bottom to kind of snug that in, and I'm gonna increase the spacing on the top. Look at that, you guys. Let's click publish and look at this now. All right. We have a hero. We have an H1, we have subtext, we have a couple different categories, and these are all clickable. You can see they're all clickable. If I click into that, it takes me to the category. Okay. What kind of questions do you guys have so far? Keep them posted. I'm gonna open the floodgates here in a couple minutes, and we'll go through as many questions as I can before I gotta go. Couple of things here on the products tab here under theme styles. Like, I don't like showing the new products. So if you scroll down here to where it says number of products displayed, oh wait, no, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for not under products, under homepage, place where we turned off the carousel. What I'm looking for here is where it says products, number of featured, number of most popular, and number of new products. I don't want to see the new products on my store because it's going to actually just show the products that have come out and been posted recently. So if you add a bolt to your store because you're selling a replacement bolt and it's the newest product on your store, it's going to show on the homepage. I don't want that. I want to be able to choose the ones that are on my homepage. So I'm going to disable the number of new products. I'm going to actually disable the most popular products, but before I do that, you may be wondering, why aren't they showing if it's set to 4? And why aren't the featured products showing if it's set to 4? Well, most popular is not going to display any products until people actually buy some products. And then it's going to show your top sellers basically. And so because this is a sandbox store, it's not live, nobody's bought a product because they're all fake products. And so, uh, there are no most popular products. Um, Now, with featured, we can use featured right this minute, and I'll show you guys where to find that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just turn off the most popular and I'm going to leave on the featured. I'm going to click publish so I don't lose my work. Okay. So it's all there. Again, we don't see any featured products, but I'm going to go into the back end. I'm going to go into my products and view products. And these little stars right here, this is how you feature products, just like that. So I'm going to feature all 5 of these and go back into my theme. Oh, it might take a minute for them to show up. I'm going to refresh. Let me make sure I had set that to 4. Yeah, let me leave it set to 4. I'm going to just publish and then refresh. Thanks, Jaden. Yeah, it's coming along, man. Oh, here's the featured products right here. Okay, so this creates a problem because I didn't want the featured products right underneath this text, right? I wanted my featured products down here. So then you're like, well, here's the problem, man, is that I put these categories too far down on the page. You're right. I did. Here's how to move them. This is another thing that I see people just kind of wail about in the forums all the time. Is like, you can't move widgets, can't move widgets. I got to delete them and recreate them. No, you don't. Let me show you how to move them. Go back into this layers menu and let's find the layer that has our image gallery on it. And the trick here is when you open this up, you can just kind of roll down these, and when it lights up the region here that you're looking to edit, then you know you're on the right one. So when I'm up here rolling over these guys up here, you can see it's not lighting up my little gallery. But as soon as I get into this section where the gallery lives, you can see it lights up to say, this is where I am. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to move this into this region up here. And all I got to do is take the layout. I'm going to take the layout here and I'm going to just drag it right up to the next one. Let's see, right up to here. Okay. And yeah, so that looks a little bit better, but you're like, hey, Cal, what's with all the space? Well, here's the deal is that the widget region that I dragged it into is actually a full width widget region, and I don't actually want it to be full width. So with this image gallery, let's see if we have it as a set. Do we have the max width? We might not have it installed in here. Okay, we're going to add that. But here's what we can do with a widget that doesn't have a max width. If we want it to be kind of hemmed in on desktop, is we can actually come in here to the layout that it's in. Okay. And so it's in this layout, and you can rename layouts too, by the way, which can kind of clean things up in here. So let's call this like the categories row. And you can see it changes here in the layers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to be 3 columns. And now look what it did. It shoved all 3 of our images into the first one. So what I'm going to do now in this layers overlay is I'm going to take this little 6 dot dragger guy here on the image gallery. I'm going to drag it into the middle one. Okay. And I'm still clicked into the layout that it's in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag these edges out. Now, this isn't a feature of our app or anything. This is the layout container widget, and you can see it's actually kind of super powerful, right? So I used the layout widget to give that row some padding here on the side, and look at how well, it looks a lot better. Not maybe perfect, so I'm going to give it a little bit more actually. Boom, boom. It would be great if we added the max width to our widget, and we will do that in the near future. But this is how it looks now. All right, so we got our triple hero, we got an H1, we got a subtitle, we have our categories, we have some featured products down below. And you're like, but Cal, you selected 5 featured products. Why is there only 4 showing? So when we were in here, we selected 4. And so it's going to show 4 of the 5 that we selected. Now you can select, I think, up to maybe you can select more than 25, but only 25 are actually going to show on the front end. No matter what you choose here. So if I chose 12 here, it's only going to show 12 max. And I think it takes a random sample of the ones that you chose. So when I selected 4, it's going to randomly show me 4 of the 5 that I chose. Okay, but I think it'll swap them out because it is a randomized thing and show different images at different times. Now, because I said to show 12, you can see it's showing me all 5, and it would show me up to 12 now had I had 5 selected. So I'm going to go back to 4. If you want to keep your most popular products in there, you can easily, set that to 4 or whatever. Um, yeah. All right. What else should we talk about? Do, do, do. One thing. Oh, let's talk about the footer for just 1 second here, and let me close my door before my 4-year-old comes in. I have a 4-year-old, and he loves running into Papa's office, and he is really good timing when I have a live call. Okay, so let's fix the footer for a second because it looks pretty terrible, but it doesn't have to look terrible. If we come in here and go to the footer, oh, here's the thing. We have a header background that we can choose, but we don't have a footer background. Yikes. Um, so you will want to put the footer background in using a a line of CSS. And I'm on Safari. Wow. Let me do this. I'm going to do it on the front end then. Actually, let's. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have done this on Safari because I hate looking at inspect on Safari. Let me save my work. And I'll show you how to get to this on Chrome. I think I can. Yeah, let me show you how to do this on Chrome. Is you can inspect any element in HTML and Chrome pretty easily. Then you just scroll up until you have selected the element that you really want to work on. And then you can come over here and just type in some code like background. And I always do pink for 1 second. And here's what I do. This is the magic. Is you say, okay, it's pink, but then I'm going to click in the color. I'm going to choose the color picker, and I'm going to just come up here and drag something out of one of the images, right? So I have like the red from the coals. I'm just going to darken it up a little bit, and I don't quite like that tint. Wonder if I could make it a little bit darker. No, not purple. Here we go. This is a pretty good one. Let's just make it a little bit darker though. So it's kind of like smoldering reddish black. Okay. And if I put that into my CSS file, oh, I'm going to get this whole line here. Footer.footer background equals blah. Actually, you know what? I'm just overthinking it. Let's just make it more of like a charcoal. Yep, that's pretty good right there. All right, let's do that. Let's go back into our backend, and I am going to edit the theme here for just 1 second. So I'm going to show you guys how to do CSS real quick. Edit theme files takes me into the code. Uh, Come on, Safari pop-up blocked. How do I get rid of the pop? Oh, there we go. Assets, SCSS. Now, in Cornerstone and in most of the themes, you have a theme.scss. And if you're not a coder and you just need to put a line of code in, it's probably the quickest, best way to do it. I think I have a different video out there showing you how to create a custom CSS file. And in the long run, I recommend doing that. But if you're not a coder and you just need to stick a line in, theme.scss. Okay. All right. So that's good. We're going to come back to our customizer. And again, when you make changes like this, it does take, up to 2 or 3 minutes for it to apply. Looks like in this case, we got lucky and it applied right away. I'm going to click back into my theme styles, header and footer, and I think I can change oh, actually, doggone it, there was there was a background in here. I think that might be a recent ad. Let me go back in here and take my custom CSS out, man. Here's the thing. It's like when you're a developer, maybe you rush to custom codes too fast sometimes. So I'll take my lumps on this one. So we're gonna just make this not black. We're gonna make it this 333. That's a decent looking one. And let's see here. I forget which one of these controls the footer text. All right, maybe we have to get into custom CSS to change the footer text. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, so the same thing. We would just inspect these and lighten up the color and throw that in the style guide. Theme.scss. And let me refresh here, make sure we're looking at the most recent footer color. Let's click preview and see what we got. So we got a triple hero, we have a header, we have our categories, we have some text, we have featured products, and I don't have a colored footer. That's because I didn't save it. All right, footer, footer background. push. Now that looks a heck of a lot better. Now, I think this is kind of like, table stakes for what you would expect on a website. This is honestly better than a lot of people's websites that I see. Even though we only spent like an hour on it, you can definitely go a little bit deeper and play with some things like, well, you really need to get some content on the page. And I would say come in here and put in a column, and you could, let's just drag text blocks in here real quick. Text blocks. Text blocks. Oh, you guys probably saw me pass right by it. Text blocks. Ugh, like the first thing. All right, let's come in here. We're gonna leave this as we're just why is it so bold? Let's leave it as paragraph. We can make it custom. Let's take it out of bold. Let's make it 16 point here. Say, here's the thing about our store. We love barbecue. We love our clients. And you want to write more than that, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to do like copywriting. I'm going to just duplicate this a couple times and kind of show you like this is how you can put a couple paragraphs in, and then you can put an image over here pretty easily and upload whatever image you want, just like what we've done before. I'm going to put a picture of a dog eating a bone. Um, we can come back here and say, let's do one more text block. Let's drag it to the top and call this about us. And we can make that an H2. Right. Oh, I think I overrode the wrong one. Let's see. Block 3 is about us. I want to drag that one to the top. There we go. And on the second one, I want my text there. Okay. So we got about us. We got a couple of lines of text. We're going to make that an H2. Let's see. If we use theme default, does it look okay? Yeah, looks all right. And yeah, look at that. We got a real store. You might also consider, um, instead of using text blocks, use like an accordion widget. Do I have that one loaded? Here we go. This is one of the best ones because you can come in here and say, why is our barbecue so good? Because we love barbecue more than anything. Okay, and you can see, you could create a couple more of these pretty easily using this array widget. And yeah, that's a story, guys. Clip Magic 2. What does it look like in tablet and mobile preview? Let's check it out. Thanks for joining us, by the way. All right, in tablet, we got some big ol' beautiful triple hero images. We have our text, we have our categories. Now, if we applied a max widget, I'm sorry, a max width to this, either with custom CSS or once we add max width to this widget, then we could get rid of these sides. Although this is how it actually looks, right? We got to click in preview. And, it could be a little bit better. You could put a little bit of custom styling in it. This is on tablet though. And then this is it on mobile. Boom, boom, boom. I'm getting hungry. You guys getting hungry? It's about dinner time. It's not too bad. It's not too bad for an hour's worth of work with really like no no custom CSS. Um, one flaw I'm going to tell you guys about in Cornerstone is it doesn't have a cart icon up here. So I would recommend adding that by custom, or maybe putting a cart link here in your mobile menu if you had to. But really, you want a cart icon up there. I don't know why it's been missing since they came out with Cornerstone, but it's a pretty easy add. One thing too is on mobile. See, this is why I like our trip. This is why I like the triple hero concept so well. Is you get that full size, that full size feel of our hero, but it's still mobile friendly because all of these images. I don't know why that's not center lining, but all these images shrink down really nicely for mobile, right? So you don't have that problem with it shrinking down so much, and then it gets really short and squatty, and then you can't read the words that were edited into the image. One thing that we did with our Triple Hero 2, though, is we said, all right, maybe you don't want to show them all three stacked like that. Maybe you just want to show one of the images, like that one. So you just uncheck this show one if stacked and show three if stacked, and you just get the singular image. Or maybe you want to show two. Or maybe you want to show the third one and not the second one. Or maybe you want to turn it into a slideshow on mobile, and that'll turn it into a slideshow. You kind of need to refresh the preview to make it work here in the preview, but it's definitely a slideshow. Then you can show like dots and arrows if you want. Now, I don't, like I said at the very beginning of this video, if you missed it, carousels will decrease your conversion rate. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I actually like it stacked. I either go stacked or I just pick one and just show like the center slide. So I would show stack slide 2, click preview. Look how good our site looks in an hour. Now, could it look better? Heck yeah, man. Like people come to us and we build custom stores and they look amazing and they're all polished. But for an hour, this isn't bad. We have accordions. I didn't put any content in in them apparently. We have about text, we got an about picture, we got featured products, we got 3 categories, we got some SEO content, we got a hero, we got a mobile menu. And 60 to 80% of your visitors are using mobile. So mobile is a thing. And if you're still like caught in the 10 years ago loop of I got to have this full edge to edge carousel hero graphic with 5 big old images, you got to think that those images are 250 to 400K each. Excuse me. And so when you multiply that out, you're adding 1.5, 2 megabytes or more of page load to your page for a hero graphic that is not tall enough to even be seen on mobile when more than half of your visitors are on mobile. So to me, don't do it. We have another widget that I didn't have loaded called the overlay widget. So if you're interested in doing a static image that's wide on desktop, the overlay widget will actually let you specify a different image on mobile. So it'll let you have a wide image for desktop and a small image for mobile. And it'll take the wording that you overlay on top of the image and it'll actually put it below the image so that people can see the whole image and then see the wording on mobile devices right underneath that. So you don't have to worry about it being obscured by the image. It's really quite nice. I'm going to do more videos like this. I hope this wasn't boring. I know that this channel is super, techie about BigCommerce, and I wrestled with kind of doing some more general e-commerce videos on this channel. But to be honest, there's so many people that have left me good comments about this stuff being so helpful. Like even these little micro, frequently asked question videos that I do, where I'm just like, here's how to add users. Um, it's not really like entertainment type content, but it's definitely stuff that people want to find when they're looking for even simple things like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep going 100% big commerce on this channel. I'm going to stay techie. I'm going to stay in the weeds. And this channel is not going to get super big, but I am going to keep it super specific for the things that you guys are asking for and the things that I know that you're looking for. So your questions are vital in order to keep doing that. And I am, like I said, going to start a podcast that is more entrepreneurial, e-commerce type stuff. Uh, to talk to a little bit of a broader audience, but I'm going to specifically stay in the weeds on this channel with you guys. So I hope this is the appropriate amount of nerdiness. This is live, so it's not mistake free. I'm committed to doing a couple lives a month with you guys. I'm going to keep on doing like landing page build outs and showing you guys how to put stuff together. This one kind of ended up feeling like kind of like a little bit of a commercial for our widgets app. It wasn't intended, um, but there are a lot of things that you can do with a built-in widget. There's a lot of things you can do with that layout container widget, especially. All right. So, what kind of questions do you guys have? I'll take questions for a couple minutes at least, and then we'll wrap it up. All right. What? Okay. I'm open to some general ones. So whether your questions are like specific to what we talked about today, or more general to e-commerce concepts, either way, I'm happy to help you guys. Okay, what strategies can I use to reduce shopping cart abandonment? You want to use Klaviyo. Now, if it's your first e-commerce store, people look at the metrics in their shopping cart abandoned carts, um, and they look at it and they go, "Oh my gosh, I'm losing so much money." 70% of people are abandoning. Thing is, like, if you are a multi-million dollar store and just crushing it, you're still going to have an uncomfortable shopping cart abandonment rate. That's just one of those metrics that, if you knew how many people didn't like you, or if I knew how many people didn't like me or didn't like this channel, it wouldn't feel good. But with e-commerce, we have access to numbers, and with numbers, like that's the burden of knowledge. So your goal isn't to get it to zero because that's not even possible. Your goal is to just constantly work on it, right? Constantly just try and do a little bit better than you did yesterday. And the way to do that is number one, you got to recognize lower prices reduces cart abandonment. Because if you're the cheapest guy on the internet, that's just less barrier to people buying. Now, I'm not saying you got to be the cheapest, but this is one of those things where you got to balance, you know, a little bit higher abandoned cart rate equals I have some profit in my products, right? So I'm not telling you to be the cheapest, but that's technically a way is to be cheaper. Giving people free shipping is definitely a big way because a lot of those people that are abandoning, what they're doing is they're shopping at work or they're shopping when they're not ready to buy, and they want to know, okay, if I put all this stuff in my cart that I really want, how much is it really going to be? Like I know that you say you have shipping, free shipping in your header, but people double check. They add all that stuff. They go to checkout. They put in their address. And they go, oh yeah, it's free shipping, but they don't have their money ready yet, or they don't have their wallet, or they're in the bathroom at work, and for whatever reason, it's not the right time for them to buy yet. They may intend to come back later, but they may totally forget, especially if you don't remind them, which is why you need Klaviyo. Now, BigCommerce has an abandoned cart sequence built in, and it's very basic. And it doesn't, and most people aren't blown away with Passable anymore. With Klaviyo, you can create custom email flows, including abandoned cart, and just replace your abandoned cart sequence that BigCommerce would send out on your behalf with one through Klaviyo, one where you can dial up the look and feel of it, one where you can A/B test every stage in it. So if you're sending out 3 emails, excuse me, I'm trying to mute myself so I don't cough on you guys, but I've had a cold all week and I'm getting over it. But the show goes on. Okay. So with their abandoned cart sequence, you can A/B test every email that goes out in every sequence. And an abandoned cart sequence is just one type of sequence that you can do with Klaviyo. There's a billion reasons why you should get Klaviyo right this minute. There's nobody that comes close. If you need somebody to help implement it, reach out to me and my team at Big Design Labs. But you can say, I want these 3 emails to go out, and you can customize them, make them look beautiful. And you could say, I want 2 versions of email number one, 2 versions of email number two, 2 versions for email number three. And you can A B test something like A B test your subject lines, this subject line versus that subject line. See which one gets a higher open rate, send it out, 500 times, Keep the winner, test something else. Maybe test another subject line, maybe test, your header or something. You just test one thing at a time, but you say A versus B, which is better, and you do that in every link in the chain. And over time, your abandoned cart sequence is going to get even better. Giant H says, just wanted to say thank you for providing the basically the only resource on YouTube on how to develop things for Stencil. Now, I am fully aware that my top video is like how to set up Stencil. So I'm going to put more developery stuff out there. This video's been kind of dedicated to people that are a little bit more DIY, but even developers can benefit from knowing how this page builder works. So I really appreciate you being here and taking part. It says you're doing a Mailchimp to Klaviyo transition this week. Highly, highly recommend it. We do that all the time for people. And, MailChimp is dominant in newsletters and they're great at newsletters. And it's a very easy system to use. It's probably best in class for what it does. What it does not do is email for e-commerce. It'll do your newsletters, but newsletters are only half of the equation. The other half, Klaviyo calls flows or email automations, things like your abandoned cart, things like a sequence for people that are just signed up for your newsletter, or people that have bought $200 from you in the last year, or people that have bought from you and haven't been back to your site in the last 6 months. You can create sequences with email in Klaviyo for just about anything you can think of that happens on your store, and it's very awesome because what I hear from store owners a lot is I have a list, it's got 20,000 people on it, and I haven't emailed it in 2 years. Okay, you got zero people on it because none of those people are going to remember who you were when you email them, right? An ancient list is a dead list. You pretend like it's zero. You're just paying for 20,000 subs on MailChimp that aren't going to do anything if you actually start emailing them out. Because what's going to happen? You email those 20,000 people, and 19,000 of them say spam, or more accurately, most of them are going to end up in the promo tab anyway, right? Which is the same thing. Here's the thing: is the more people you email out to, if they're not opening your email, if they're not clicking through your email, you're going to eventually just get more and more spam filtered, and your email deliverability goes through the floor. This is why e-commerce email automations are so important, because when you start sending things out triggered based on events or time, right? You set up these scenarios so people don't go 6 months without having heard from you, right? And so then when you do that newsletter that you're overdue by a couple months, they've still heard from you over the past several months through these email automations, right? So your list isn't as stale. It's going to be more receptive. More people open it, increases your deliverability rate, helps you sell more stuff, right? So, Flavio, just do it. Glad you're going over there. If you need help, reach out. I talk with people about this all the time. They're like, "Well, what's the differences between Mailchimp and Klaviyo?" Mailchimp just isn't for this at all. It's for like dentists and roofers and people like me that are selling things business to business, but not products. Right? As soon as you have a cart, Klaviyo is just undisputed. The flows are the magic, man. They're just everything. So it's gonna be a whole new day. Just get it set up right. All right. Next question. Keep your questions coming, by the way. Um, when is the right time to invest in paid advertising for my store? Okay. So this is a tricky question. There's different types of paid advertising, right? And what I hear as a marketer is, when is the right time for me to pay someone to advertise for my store? And maybe that's not quite the question. I hope you guys don't hear my 4-year-old. Um, but let me answer this a couple different ways. So there's different ways to do PPC, first of all, right? There's Google and there's Facebook. There's other ones too. There's, Pinterest ads and, lots of other little micro things. There's, display networks, which banner ads, or I mean, there's third parties like Taboola and stuff. There's so much that you can do. One of those is business owner friendly, which is Facebook, right? Because your audience may or may not be receptive to, Facebook ads, but it is something that you can try on your own for small amounts of cash. So I recommend, like, if you're a starter business and you're just trying to get your feet under you, Facebook is a great thing to play with because you can target different demographics and you can kind of target different you can try different wordings and try different images and kinda use it to learn about your audience, right? But I don't recommend on day 0 to start paying somebody like my team to start managing ads for you because, number 1, it's gonna be costly, but the bigger reason is you don't really know what your audience is receptive to. And so that's kinda dangerous to start paying somebody to help you because you could spend a lot of money and you're really spending money to figure out, what do people want? And it's way better to learn that as a lesson through your own time and effort and small amounts of money than to do it on big amounts of money. So what I recommend is if you're a startup, do it yourself for a little bit. Try some Facebook ads, try some SEO, but don't expect SEO to be your everything anytime soon. Um, try some YouTube videos, get on YouTube Live, get on Instagram, show your products, like, just take as many courses as you can, get on Skillshare and learn everything that you can, man. Get on YouTube, learn everything you can, try all this stuff, um, learn, right? And when you've learned a good bit, when you've learned a couple things that work, when you've learned how to make a little bit of cash through your time, even if you're not cash flowing yet, but you're starting to realize, hey, I can find people and I know what they're interested in hearing. And I know that they actually want my product because I'm making a couple sales here and there. Once you get to, where you're selling 5, 10 grand a month, maybe, then maybe start thinking about it. It's maybe still aggressive when you're at the 5 to 10 grand a month level. I would say when if you've managed to parlay up to 50 grand without paid ads, dude, you should be thinking about paid ads by now. Bring somebody in to manage that stuff. All right. Jaden has another question. Let's see here. All right. How are your clients doing in terms of performance? BigCommerce needs to invest in this area and get a new cloud provider. Uh, Time to first bite is very slow on my store at the moment and it's dragging me down. Okay. It's a great question. First of all, having crappy themes is the biggest reason I see people say this, right? Having unoptimized images is the second biggest reason, or maybe that's vice versa. But those two culprits are a lot of the problem. Neither of those are usually going to be what's killing you on the time to first bite. But there's a tool out there. I'm going to have a couple videos around this, and I'm going to actually hopefully, going to have these guys here on the channel, and we're going to interview them. They have an app called Tag Rocket, and Tag Rocket is a different way of pixeling your store. Is their primary function? It's the best way to pixel your store for Google Analytics 4. Period. It'll capture more data than the native GA4 script. It'll capture more than BigCommerce's built-in script, although BigCommerce is pretty good. Um, but there's a certain amount of data that Google Analytics has never captured with their own script, and it's like, 10 to 15% of your front end traffic just has never been pixeled. It's never lined up, not just on BigCommerce, but other platforms too, because there's just some problems in how you pixel data and how some people opt out of tracking and things like that. Um, the GA4 front end script isn't perfect. TagRocket compares. This is why it's so awesome. This is one of the reasons why it's so awesome. I'm just going to give away the video. Um, TagRocket actually compares purchase by purchase, the purchase ID of a sale that is registered and pushed into GA4 with the ones that are actually purchased in BigCommerce. And if it finds transactions that haven't been reported in GA4, it pushes those in. And so there's some documentation on their site basically saying that they find your missing transactions and that's how they do it, which is amazing. Getting back to your question, Jaden, they have like a whole thing that's part of their plugin where they have an integration where they can pipe in your core web vitals data into a Google Looker Studio integration, and it ends up building you this pile of metrics around your core web vitals that not only shows you your core web vitals data plotted historically, So you can see your time to first bite, you can see your CLS going up and down over time, which is amazing, but it'll also break it down page template to page template where the problems are. It is amazing. It is a little bit of effort to set up. Uh, it their plugins like 22 bucks. It's a no-brainer to get for just the first reason I mentioned. But the second reason, if you're trying to get into the weeds, what you really need is you need data on what's slowing things down and where you're getting marked off. And their Looker integration is what you want to look into. It is awesome. I'm gonna do a whole set of videos around this to show you guys what I'm talking about, but it gives you just a mountain of data to start optimizing with, which is really cool. All right. How would you deal with the SEO side? How would you deal with the SEO side of adding parameters to menu URLs? We're dealing with variants and have products show up for certain facets that are still out of stock. You're dealing with variants and have products show up for certain facets that are still out of stock. So it sounds like you want, I think this is a couple questions here, Giant. Um, we've done some things here in themes to make like variant URLs work. If you're trying to get people to like a filtered category view or like a filtered product page view, maybe that's what you're looking for. Follow-up question. Passing a facet parameter with the URL helps a lot with the user experience because they only see products in stock. So that might help you. You might also think about using a third-party filter system like, I mean, if you want to gold plate it, you could talk to SearchSpring. Those guys are really, really awesome, and they can totally fix this, but it's very costly. But these guys over at FreshClick have a filter system that is very affordable and has a ton of features, including better filters, less limitations on filters. You don't have to be at a certain account level to get really cool custom filters. And I believe they can also take the products that are out of stock from your category grids. So if that's what you're looking for, maybe check out FreshClick. Regarding time to first byte, is it true that a bigger HTML has to regarding the time to first byte, is it true that a bigger HTML that has to be downloaded? Not sure if I understand this one. Is it true that a bigger HTML that has to be downloaded the slower it is? Okay, so I think you're asking about if the overall HTML, like the overall code on the page is bigger, does that affect it? All right, we'll get into the weeds on the core web vitals. I think that the time to first byte is the time that it takes for the largest element on the page to load. I could be mistaken. That might be the first contentful paint. I think it's the time to first byte. And if that's the case, then using this Looker integration that TagRocket puts out, it actually identifies that biggest element that's on the page. So you can focus on what's in that element and maybe reducing what's in that element to reduce your time to first byte. That's why I'm telling you, getting this integration with them is so vital because you can really dig into the weeds on this kind of stuff. All right. Jaden says you use their app Rich Snippets. That is their other app. Those guys are called Website Advantage, and their Rich Snippets app is equally awesome. It basically just fixes all your rich snippets across the site. And if you do have any problems afterwards, those guys have amazing support, like amazing. They're over in Australia, but they'll get back to you honestly quicker than I would. They are so on it and they are so awesome. So if you have any problems come up in your SEO audits after using rich snippets, just send them a message and they'll help you out. Um, Let's see. They call those purchases browsers versus server purchases. Very helpful indeed. Yep, for sure. All right, more questions. More sniffling and then more questions. Okay. Should I focus on customer retention right from the start? Yeah, if you can. I, Okay. Short answer, yeah, because you can never say no to that, right? But the real answer is if you're just starting your business right now, you got two things to focus on, which is traffic and conversion. You got to get people to the store and you got to get them to buy. Everything else is window dressing. It's nice to have, but when you're first getting started, it's all about can I get traffic and can they buy my products? Like, you're probably not going to be profitable for a while, but you got to figure out, can I get the traffic? Can I get them to buy? How do I choose the right e-commerce platform for my business? Well, if you're on this channel, then I hope that you're thinking BigCommerce is the right one. If you're doubting BigCommerce, I get so many people ask me like, "Oh, is the grass greener on Shopify?" Like, I'm thinking about moving to Shopify. What's it like? Here's what it's like. It's more expensive, and you got less features, and some things are a little bit easier, and some things are way harder. They're missing some features that, as a guy that's built BigCommerce sites for 13 years, man, I've become accustomed to a certain style of living, or whatever they say. I'm very accustomed to being able to have hierarchical categories, to be able to say my t-shirts are a subset of my apparel and have that truly be a subset instead of those things being tags and having to create the appearance of a subset, you know? Uh, Let me cough. All right. Let's just pretend I didn't cough. I don't think I coughed. I'm trying my best to mute myself if I have to cough. All right. I'm gonna keep doing these. I want these to be collaborative. I want you guys to ask as many questions as you can. I'm here to help you. So if I'm willing to sit down with you guys for an hour or two, I really appreciate you guys being here. And even more, I'd love the questions, because you never know. Like, when you get that question out, it might be something somebody else has been wondering. Um, it might be something that we turn into, a clip on a short, but it could also be something that somebody else hasn't thought to ask. Thanks, Giant, for coming. I appreciate it. Appreciate your questions too. So sometimes, like, asking questions can help somebody else with a breakthrough, just like the question, like, I never thought to ask that, you know? So I really appreciate those. Let's see here. What's I've already answered that one. What's the benefits of setting up an email automation system? The benefits are, you're going to make more sales. You're going to reduce your cart abandonment. Get Klaviyo. Gotta get Klaviyo. All right. When should I consider hiring additional team members for my store? All right. So I'm going to do a video soon about the different stages of growth uh, for an e-commerce store. I really look at it as there's four stages of growth. The first stage is getting proof of concept. You're going from 0 to 20K, and you got to do things DIY for the most part, because you don't have any money yet, and because you need to learn, right? So you got to dig in. You got to try stuff. You got to fall on your face, and you got to learn what didn't work and why, and you got to get to the next level and push yourself. Opening an e-commerce store is like going to college, except there's no teacher. What there is there's YouTube, and there's I mean, I'm here, there's a lot more people than me. There's so much stuff you can learn on YouTube, so you gotta just get out there and learn everything you can, man. Um, but when you get to stage 2, when you're doing a good bit more than that, when you're doing like 50K a month, then you definitely have proof of concept. You're starting to, you've already found good traffic. You already have a store that converts. You're probably still on a pre-made theme. You're probably asking, like Jaden, is now the time for Clavio, right? And this is normally happening when you're around 40, 50 grand a month, maybe 100 grand a month. Usually when you're at 100 grand a month, you're on what I consider to be phase 3. And in phase 3, like, you should be working with an agency. You should have one or two staff members. You should not be doing it all yourself. When you see YouTubers out there saying, "Yeah, I do $1 million as a one man," dude, if you are really doing $1 million as a one man store, what would happen if you had help? You probably should be doing $2 million, and you just don't have the help. Um, I'm gonna butcher the saying, but what do they say? What's the Bush saying? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, bring your team. Um, oh yeah, here's a good question from Jade. Another major issue with BigCommerce is a lot of people complain about the form spam issue. I never got as much spam on my WooCommerce store. You have a solution for that? CAPTCHA does nothing. Well, okay, so BigCommerce's CAPTCHA uses BigCommerce's CAPTCHA API key automatically. And their API key, if you've ever set up your Google CAPTCHA account, they have a little slider where you can decide how mean you want their CAPTCHA to be. And BigCommerce's is slided is slided. It's slid all the way down to I'm a nice guy, right? And what you want if you're having spam problems is you want to slide it up. So what you can do in one of the screens like in your display settings area, it's not the display, it's like one of the other tabs, is you can go in there and you can put in your own Google CAPTCHA API key. And what that lets you do is create your own Google CAPTCHA account, have them issue you a key, you put that in, and now your slider controls the meanness of that CAPTCHA and you can increase it. And increasing it will absolutely reduce your spam some. You'll still get some spam. And if you get too much spam, it may just be that you're getting targeted. We've had clients get targeted by bots. We've had clients get targeted by DDoS attacks before BigCommerce had DDoS protection built in, which they do, which is awesome. Um, but that can be a first step. Step 2 is use a form system where you can dial it up. Look at replacing the built-in form with an external third-party form. So maybe something like JotForm or Typeform or the guys at Power Forms have an app that goes right into BigCommerce with their own form solution. So those are some good options. You just want something that you can control better. It's like everything else. It's like BigCommerce's abandoned cart system it's okay. It's there. You have it on day one. And when you have enough traffic going through, then Klaviyo's abandoned cart system is going to make you more money than the cost of Klaviyo. Right. And so you upgrade as you get bigger and as you get targeted more. So I would start by getting your own CAPTCHA account, putting your code in, dialing it up, and if you still have problems, just replace the form with a third-party system. There's so many to choose from, but they're not very expensive. Um, oh yeah, so you've already got your own API key in, and yeah, it's time for a custom email solution. And, okay, so here's the thing. I'll give you a good idea to take with the drawback of paying for an app. So the idea is if you're still getting spam after putting in your own API key in your BigCommerce forms, and so you're thinking, okay, well, it's time to upgrade to a third-party form system. Here's the good thing that you can take as a trade-off. The silver lining is the third party systems can probably be attached to something like Zapier, and then you can start using automation to maybe deal with some of the form fills and maybe feed them into a project management system or something. So you can start getting more creative in what you do with those form fills. And I would say take that as a positive. You can also use that as an opportunity to gather more information. So BigCommerce's form system, when you set it up, they only have like 7 or 8 fields, and you can't get around that. That's all you're going to get. You can't upload an image. You can't have like a drop down or whatever. Um, although you could probably make a custom thing act like a drop down. Anyway, um, so you're opening yourself up to have more fields, more types of fields, tie into automation. So I would just look at, okay, if I'm going to do a custom form, what are some of the benefits I can get out of it? And oh yeah, that's a great idea. There you go. Klaviyo is awesome. I use them for all my email needs. So with Klaviyo, you can build a form and you can have your form actually go through Klaviyo. So depending on who you want that contact form to go to, it might be just something that you run through Klaviyo and you don't use a third party system. Although I think you're probably going to want to use a third party system. Like there's enough benefits for it, right? All right. Next question. I love the questions. I'm going to just try and keep on going for a little bit as long as you guys have questions. Try and answer as many as I can because my kid's not screaming. Um, all right. So I don't remember if I answered this question fully. When should I consider hiring additional team members for my store? To me, if you're doing $1 million, you should have already hired them. If you're doing 50 grand, if you can hire a part timer or an Upworker that can work with you on a consistent basis. Like I'm a big fan of Upwork. I've done a lot of business on Upwork. If you guys have ever looked me up on Upwork, I've done more big commerce than anybody in the world. And it's not even my main gig is freelancing on Upwork. It's just, I've done a lot of business on the side there. Um, and I've done a lot of agency business on there. It's not all freelancer business, but Upwork can be a good way to go. I like Upwork, especially if I need to hire somebody like specialty for a one-time thing. So like a packaging design maybe, or like I had a booth design for a trade show. I mean, I have a designer on my staff, but is that her expertise? No. I can bring in somebody that's designed 200 booths though and have them knock it out of the park because they've done it 200 times. I love that about Upwork. I also love being able to find professionals that you can put on a regular retainer, right? So Upwork, most people think that it only has hourly. I'm not meaning to like turn this into an Upwork commercial, talk myself out of work or anything, but they have a feature where you can like put people on a weekly retainer and say, I want to pay this person like 200 bucks every single week. One sec. Sorry. Give me just one second. I'll be right back. I just want to. Oh man. All right. Well, thanks for letting me know. Okay. So here's what I was saying uh, in my mind is hey, this is proof I got real people watching, so thanks for letting me know that I was muted. All right, so here's what I was saying is that Upwork has this feature where you can put people on a fixed weekly amount, and I think this is great. I like using Upwork for small periods of time, hiring people hourly if they're going to do like an expert but one-time job. But if it's somebody I want to work with on an ongoing basis, like a video editor or a content editor, somebody to like I have a guy right now that is doing product descriptions for me, and that's not something I need to hire as a full-time job. I definitely don't want to hire internally full-time for it, but I do want to keep working with the guy and keep him fed so he keeps working with me, right? Because the problem with Upwork is you'll get people's attention for a little bit and then their attention will fizzle, right? And sorry about saying right a billion times, right? If you put people on a weekly salary, then you just become like a quarter of their week, and you're part of their ongoing paycheck, and so they appreciate that, and you don't lose their attention as much, in my experience. I think this is a great underutilized feature of Upwork, and I think it's great to like hire like some micro team members when you're at the smaller steps in your store. All right. What's the importance of customer reviews and testimonials? Super important. So, people, Amazon. My 2 cents on Amazon is that they're not as big as they are because they're cheap, because let's face it, we're all sellers. We know that Amazon tacks on 25-30% to our products, and there's no way they can be the cheapest when they take such a big cut for doing nothing. Well, for not doing all the stuff that you do and not making the product, right? Um, they're big because of their reviews. They're big because they get so many reviews that people trust what is said about the products to a degree. And if you don't have reviews on your store, then people will go to Amazon just to see the reviews, and you might lose the sale just because of that, just because you didn't have reviews. If you have reviews, not only do you not lose the sale, hopefully, but maybe you make the sale. Maybe that's the social proof that people need. Additionally, getting reviews on the page is extra text on the page that talks about that product. So this is UGC, right? User generated content. And as long as you're not using Trustpilot, which puts all of your reviews in an iframe where Google can't see them, as long as you're using anybody but Trustpilot, then your your reviews are going to be on page and counting towards your SEO. I really like Stamped. I really like Yotpo. There's other people out there. Reviews.io seems really good. I've heard a lot of good things about Judge.me. I haven't used them, but getting UGC on the page is better for everybody. So it'll help you close more, it'll help you lose less, and it'll help you with your SEO to a degree. I mean, it's not 1,000 words of text, but it's not zero, you know. Jaden says he's not much of an Upwork guy. He uses Fiverr a lot, and yeah, I mean, I haven't had as good luck with Fiverr. Everything is so productized, and I never really want something productized. I want somebody that's going to listen to my requirements and do them. So I've had better luck on Upwork, but I mean, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, maybe it is good to have a productized service through Fiverr. But they're definitely big. All right, next question here. How do I optimize my e-commerce website for mobile users? So you got to be responsive. Um, you got to pay attention to it. I think the biggest thing that you can do to make sure that you're optimized for mobile is constantly look at your site on mobile. We had this one client that was doing a ton of business. Like they're doing like nine figures now, and their traffic was 98% mobile. It was incredible. Very heavy, like Instagram users are just always posting on Instagram. A very visual product, is a fast fashion product. And they actually banned their entire company from looking at their website on desktop at work. They said, if you want to look at our website, open your phone, which is the opposite of what you hear it everywhere else in America. But they wanted all of their employees to look at their site all the time on mobile. Because here's the thing is if you're looking at it on mobile, you're going to find the problems. And if you find the problems, then you just got to figure out how to fix them, right? But the biggest thing that people don't do is just look at their site more on mobile. um, Obviously, it needs to be responsive. You need to you need to pay attention to details. Like when I showed you guys the Cornerstone preview and pointed out that Cornerstone doesn't have shopping cart on it on mobile by default, which if you're listening to BigCommerce, that's something you guys should change. Um, you got to look for that kind of stuff. Try and use it. Try and add to cart. You know, um, looking at your core web vitals, looking at your Tag Rocket Looker report, and seeing how it performs on mobile across different templates. When I do this video for you guys, it's like mind blowing what they'll tell you, what data they give you, because they could say here's your mobile core web vitals broken up across the homepage versus the category page versus the product page versus the cart page versus your gift certificate purchases page, right? They'll break down every single template in your store and tell you which ones are better or worse. And most of the metrics in Core Web Vitals too, the way that Google counts them for or against you is they count your average, right? The average for the whole domain. And so if you improve individual pages, even though they may not be the homepage or the category page or the product page, like improving your average across all of your pages actually improves your composite score for most of their metrics for pages that you may not have even touched, like the homepage, the category page, the product page. So sometimes if you want a better homepage score, you need to look at what other pages are dragging me down, which is strange, but that's how it works. All right. What strategies can help me differentiate my store from competitors? Stra- okay, so some strategies to help you differentiate yourself from competitors. Number one, figure out how you are different from your competitors. So I sell barbecue grills. Okay, great. 10,000 people sell barbecue grills. Home Depot sells barbecue grills. How am I different than Home Depot? Well, I'm not as big as Home Depot. So maybe I'm boutique. Maybe I have a greater selection. Maybe it's my location. Maybe it's my I'm gonna say what you're thinking. Maybe it's my level of support. I give good support. Here's the thing, everyone says they give good support. Nobody says I give bad support. That's not a differentiator. But, free shipping could be a differentiator. A certain type of barbecue grill could be a differentiator. Bundling your barbecue grills, like everything comes with care kits. Like, we give back to, school children. Like there's so many ways that you can be different. What you want is you want to know how you want to be considered different, impact how your store comes across so that when your visitor comes to your store and they look at your shoes, they can say the difference between Foot Locker and Tom's is that Tom's is making an impact in the world. Tom's sells crappy shoes that make an impact in the world. Tom's gives away a pair of shoes to poor people every time you buy a pair of shoes, right? This is how they got big, is they said, "Here's how we're different." And you're not different by saying, "We answer the phones," because nobody knows that unless they call you, and you don't want everybody to call you, even if you do answer the phones. So you gotta decide how you're different. And if the words that describe how you're different can't come out of your mouth, then they cannot come out of your customer's mouth. So always start with, "How are you different?" Jaden says 70% of his traffic comes from mobile as well. So mobile optimization is a must nowadays, right? And think back to that cool triple hero I showed you guys. I love it so much. It's not like you got to use it 100% of the time. And there's other ways to become mobile friendly. But the reason I love it so much is because so many people just have that stupid edge to edge slider that is just a tiny little strip on mobile. And, that's just crap for most of your users. So, yeah, let's see. What are best practices for handling customer inquiries and support? Oh man, that's a hot button right there. Speed. Speed is huge because if you're selling in America in 2023, soon to be 2024, people don't want to wait. People want to be real important and they want to be real important real quick. And I mean, I have people sometimes when I have calls stacked up where I'm helping customers and helping customers and helping customers like pre-existing meetings. And I'll have somebody call me at 2 o'clock and say, "Why haven't you responded to my email? I sent it like 3 hours ago." Dude, I've been in meetings. But they get so mad. So they had to wait, even though it's, you know, completely ridiculous to expect someone just to be sitting there waiting for your email. You know, it is what it is, man. So you got to be quick. I really recommend for customer inquiries and support to have a system that allows multiple people to handle support inquiries. And that way, if you have 3 people that can man the support lines, whether they're phone lines or emails or whatever, then, whoever's free first can help somebody, which just massively improves the speed of response. So you gotta have some people. If you're a one-man shop, that's kinda hard. But using a system like Gorgeous, who I really like, or Reamaze, who I've not used, but is very close to Gorgeous, that lets you basically have a ticket system. And the reason I like these ticket systems over something like Zendesk and other dinosaurs are email only. They want to pretend like live chat doesn't exist, like text messages don't exist, like Facebook messages don't exist, like Twitter DMs don't exist. Thing is, wherever you exist as a brand, there are people that are going to hit you up for support there. If you have YouTube videos on YouTube like me, I actually have people hit me up through my YouTube comments, and then they're mad that I don't get back to them that same day. Like, I will get back to your comments. I promise you. If you guys leave me comments, and I appreciate your comments, I will get back to you, but it's probably not going to be the same day. Um, not a great way to handle support. Here's the thing with a system like Gorgeous is you can plug it into all those places where you guys have your brand out there, your Facebook Messenger, your Twitter, your email, your live chat. I don't know if they do WhatsApp, but man, it would be great if they did WhatsApp business. But you plug it in all these different places, and wherever those support inquiries come, they come into that same bucket, and then you can have multiple people manning the bucket. So if you have 2 people or 3 people as your support people, then they're able to all of them sorry, they're able to all answer text and messenger and email and live chat all in the same utility. So I think, something like Gorgeous is the way to go. And once you get multiple people in there, then you're handling multiple channels multiple times faster. That's how you do it. Um, is it wise to consider international expansion in the early stages? No. I wouldn't. Focus on getting traffic. Remember I said earlier, you wanna focus on traffic and conversion, that's it. Don't focus on international tax law and duties and and shipping to another country, and what happens if they don't, receive it when it gets there, and do you do, like, a forwarder system, or do you actually, deliver, like, through an international, like, shipping company? Just don't it's too much. You got enough stuff to worry about when you're in the early stages. Traffic, conversion. Once you get past traffic and conversion, think about a second traffic source, Enclavio. All right. What financing options are available with for e-commerce startups with limited capital? All right. So it's unclear if you're asking about financing options on behalf of your customers, in which Affirm, Afterpay, PayPal Credit, these are all super available. Or if you're talking about financing options for yourself, let's be honest, most people finance their stores on credit cards. And I know nobody's supposed to say that out loud. You're not supposed to tell someone to do that for sure. You're not supposed to admit when you have done it. But I work with a lot of stores, and I promise you 90% of them started out on a credit card because you don't have any collateral unless you have like a home line of credit or a home loan or something to pull money out. Um, with credit cards, the drawback is the rates are insane and it's hard to profit. It's hard to profit even if you don't use credit when you first get started because your margins you're gonna have to try so much stuff that it's hard to profit until you start doing 40, 50 grand a month. Um, credit cards will let you get going and not put you in a position where you have to apply to banks and make somebody happy or find an investor or ask your mom or whatever, and you gotta get approval for somebody. It lets you go out there and do this thing that this let's be honest, this is an uncommon path. Most of the people around you, like most people around me, are probably going to tell you, this is crazy. Like, why are you even doing this? You know? And that's pretty normal. Like, it may feel like you're the only person, it may feel like everyone is against you because nobody's walked that path. Nobody really understands this path. And so, the power of credit cards is you don't have to submit yourself to other people's judgment. You are putting your neck out there, which can be good. So the bad thing is you got the rake working against you, but the good thing is you're putting your neck out there. Now, if you pull money out of your house and you have $100,000 and you put it into your business, which you may need to do if you're making a product from scratch because production runs cost money. But, if that's not the case, if you just need 10, 20 grand to get started, putting it on a credit card, I don't mean to like advertise for credit cards because they're the devil, but putting your neck out there a little bit is gonna make you be honest, right? So, earlier in my career, before I was even in e-commerce, I could tell you the best thing I ever did was take a full commission sales job because I put my paycheck on the line and said, "I'm not gonna get paid unless I deliver." And that's kinda how I feel about credit cards for startups is, I mean, it's a sucky way to go. There's lots of downfalls, and you don't wanna tell people that that's what you did, but everyone else does it the same way. But you gotta be honest with yourself and say, "If I'm gonna put myself in the hole for 10 grand, for 20 grand, I better figure it out," because what am I gonna do? Take a night job delivering pizza? Maybe you're delivering pizza, that's actually a decent night job when you're starting up. But, if you're on the hook, you're gonna have to figure it out. How do I handle product sourcing and supplier relationships? So, man, This is a hard one because there's a lot of gurus out there that tell you just go find a drop shipper. And, drop shippers can be a way to start, but they're not a great way most of the time to find profit, because most of the drop shippers that you'll find on day one will work with anybody and they do, and everybody sells it for cost. And then why are you even selling it? Like there's no profit. So it's kind of rough. What I like doing is going to trade shows and trying to find some people that are a little bit more discriminatory, because there's middlemen out there that will sell you products that you can resell. They may even do drop shipping, which is really nice, but they may not sell to just anybody, right? They may want to see that you're established so that they're not wasting your time. A lot of the good vendors will want to see that you have a website up and that you look like a real business, right? So, what I've seen some people do is start a store, use the dime a dollar drop shippers just to populate some products initially, and then go to trade shows with your site in hand. And when they look at your site, they go, "Oh, this guy has a real business. Yeah, we'll work with him. We'll open a line, and now you have access to all of our products, which normally people don't get access to. And now you have a product inventory potentially that not everybody has, or fewer people have, and hopefully now there's some profit in it. Um, there's a lot of ways I can answer this question for product sourcing. Whether you're building products or you're finding like people on Alibaba and modifying things that already exist. There's a lot of ways you could go. There's just a lot of ways to answer this question. This is a whole course, product sourcing and supplier relationships. All right, let's get your final questions in. I'll run through a couple more, and then I think it's dinner time and 4-year-old. Okay, what are the key performance indicators, KPIs for e-commerce growth? Everything in e-commerce at a high level comes down to traffic times conversion, which is what I told you guys to work on at the beginning. Traffic times conversion times average order value times frequency of purchase. That's the whole thing. You got to know those metrics at a high level so that you can say, like, if I increase my average order value by $5 an order, here's what it's going to do to my bottom line, because it's a multiplier, right? It multiplies based on all the other things. Those are the most important. Now, you break those things down into sub metrics, like you break your traffic down into, channels and core web vitals. And these are definitely some of the most important things to look at. Like your channels report in Google Analytics shows you, like, of all the traffic that came in, which channel did it come from? Paid, SEO, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess. Right? So knowing where your stuff comes from, like, you gotta keep an eye on that traffic. You gotta know where it comes from. You gotta get more coming. So those are some ideas. There's so many that you should keep track of, but you gotta decide what are the highest level ones and kind of work backwards from there. So traffic times conversion times average order value times frequency of purchase. Let's see here. How can I adapt to seasonal sales fluctuations in e-commerce? That's a good one. This is, we're going into a season, so there may be a lot of seasonal type businesses watching right now. Um, you know, number one, knowing that it's seasonal. Number one, number two, like setting up your analytics so you can compare season against season and know as you're getting into the season if you're already in rough waters because you're off pace before it even starts. Those are some important things. Figuring out a way to be all year round, you know, um, whether that's selling some products in addition to your seasonal stuff that is not seasonal, like maybe you sell like Christmas decorations and stuff, and this is your biggest thing. So you're selling tons of Christmas decorations, fake Christmas trees, all kinds of stuff like that. But what happens after Christmas? Well, maybe you could sell like Easter stuff and, summer stuff. Maybe you can sell like home decorations throughout the rest of the year and keep things trickling in so that you can keep building and not just shut the doors until next time. Because keep in mind, like, it's kind of weird from Google's standpoint when you go from no traffic all year round to crazy traffic. So to me, I'm wondering how can I keep some traffic year round? We had one client that was doing um, like like um, helmets and jackets and pads and stuff for people doing snowmobiling, and he created an offset by, taking the products that the same vendors sold him, not just snowmobile, but the people that sell those type of products also sell motocross and ATV gear, and so that guy would sell summer stuff in the summer and then winter stuff in the winter, so he was just kind of adapting his product lines to be multi-seasonal. All right. Oh man, Jaden, this is a good one. Good final question. All right, let's just call this one the final. Okay. It's been 2 hours. My mouth is a little dry. This is a little bit of a stamina thing. Um, Final question. How much AI are you using in your business? Have you properly adopted it? So the last question, the second part there is a little bit loaded. Have I properly done it, right? I don't know. I mean, does anyone know what properly doing it looks like now? With everything in marketing, when a new tool comes out, everybody's going to misuse it until we figure out how to properly use it. So I think 3 or 4 years from now, we'll all know how to properly use it. I think I'm properly using it. Here's how I use it. At a high level, I use it to outline my ass off. I use it to outline ideas. I use it to outline within those ideas. I will create outlines like when I do a video, I will outline myself, what's in my head, what I want to put in that video, and then I'll have GPT re-outline it and I'll smush those two outlines together. So I think AI is the coolest thing ever, but I don't think it's smart to replace yourself with it. It's not smart to turn your brain off and let it be your brain, right? I think it's smart to use your brain and its brain, right? Combine them to form Voltron. I think that's the secret sauce that I'm going to say is me properly using it. But I use it to outline stuff. I use it to outline videos. I use it to outline pages that I want to build. Um, I frequently will use it to uh, I'll use it to redo something that I think I didn't do well enough, if that makes sense. So, like, I'll write something out and I'm not quite happy with it, and I'll say, "Here's the audience. Here's what I've done. Make that better." And it does. Right? And I really like feeding it content to improve upon or change. Like most of the videos that I do, my FAQ videos, here's what I do after I make the video is I have Otter.ai transcribe it. So I'm using AI to transcribe it. And then I feed that transcription into GPT and I say, here's the transcript of a video that I just made. Create a post summarizing and encouraging people to watch this. So, based on what it knows is in the video, because I gave it my actual speak, it knows what I'm talking about. And now it knows how to set it up and it writes a beautiful article, which I can tailor if I want. And I turn that into a post on my site. So, I I've posted hundreds of videos here about BigCommerce, and guess what I have on my site is I have hundreds of articles with my video, with the AI created transcript of my video, with the AI created or at least originated summary of my video, and then I also use it to create the summaries on YouTube of my video, right? So it creates a summary that I use on my website as well as a summary that I use on my video description itself. Um, I use other AI to dial it up for SEO and help me find more keywords and stuff to put in there. So I'm using like several different layers of AI to do specific things. But what I'm not doing is I'm not having it think for me. I'm having it add to my thoughts and I'm having it create a better version of what I've already created, if that makes sense. I think that's the right way to do it because it doesn't lose the me in the process. So everything you see on my site came from my thoughts and my words. It has my slant and my opinion in it. And it's not all about my opinion, but when you're writing content more and more, it's about, your experience, right? This is what Google's telling us. It's about the experience part of it, because anyone can generate words and concepts and regurgitate stuff because this is what GPT does. But when you have it regurgitate and improve what came out of you, I think that that's what makes it unique. So that's how I use it. Maybe that'll be a whole like video at some point. I feel like everybody in the world's doing how to use AI videos, so I kind of don't feel like doing that at the moment, but I'm using it a lot, and I'm using it to just augment and improve, my calness, if you if you want to call it that. All right, we're gonna call this the last one. 2 hours, 15 minutes. I was not anticipating going that long, but we had lots of good questions. I really appreciate everybody that took part. Definitely leave me a comment, give me a like on this video. Let the algorithms know that this helped you. I really appreciate it. And next week, I'm going to have some podcast stuff to share with everybody. So I really appreciate it. And thanks so much for joining me. See you on the next one.